This is an area of weakness for me. Someone was telling me the other day, how can you always be so positive? You're always smiling, you're always excited, you're always like, yeah, we're planting this church, and we're gonna start this site, and we're gonna hire this pastor, and we're gonna go across Canada, and it sounds all so great. And the truth is, it's not all great. I mean, I got hired to join our staff team right in the middle of the pandemic, September 2020. We thought at the time, guys, I mean, many of us, I'm sure, thought the same thing. You know, COVID's gonna be done in 3 months. By December 2020, somehow on midnight, 31st of December 2020, COVID is going to leave, and we can get on with life. And it didn't happen. Over and over and over again. You know what I'm talking about. Things just kept coming up, challenges, obstacles. And I'm like, God, there were days I spent in the office, no staff, no team, nobody, all by myself, 8, 9, 10-hour days just saying, Jesus, how are we going to do this in the middle of a pandemic? But I have a hard time communicating this. You know, I faced this. In fact, in the first few years of our marriage, we had challenges around this, right? Because my wife and I would be driving, we'd be in the car, and she'd turn around and, we're quiet and, contemplate or whatever. And she'd be like, so what are you thinking about? And my natural response was, nothing. She said, you can't think about nothing. How is that? That's not possible. That's not humanly possible. You can't think about nothing. And so we went back and forth. Is it possible for the brain to think about nothing? And we just couldn't come to a decision, right? We couldn't come to an agreement on it until we found this guy who was a pastor who was doing a marriage conference. And we watched this video, and he just cracked the code for us. He said, let me explain to you men's brains. He says, men's brains are made out of a bunch of boxes. Okay, we've got a box for everything in life. We've got a box for you, our wife. We've got a box for our children. We've got a box for work. We've got a box for golf. We've got a box for things we want to do in the future. We've got a box in the basement for our mother-in-law, right? We've got a box for everything. And the rule is the boxes never touch. Right? So that's why we can multitask. You know what I'm talking about? It's like one thing at a time. If I'm literally, this has happened to me, I'm texting a friend, hey bro, you want to hang out, whatever, and my wife's leaving the house, she's like, okay babe, I'll see you later, love you, and I'll tell her, okay, love you babe, and then I look down, I'm like, love you babe, I'm like, no, we are not sending this text. I literally can't multitask, right? And so he says this, he says, out of all the boxes in a man's brain, some women are just gonna get revelation right now, out of all the boxes in a man's brain, the box he loves the most is a box he opens up, and inside there is nothing in it. In fact, he says, we call it the nothing box. And out of everything we like to do, we just like to do the nothing. This is why I love going to the golf range. You're not thinking, you're just hitting a ball, right? This is why guys love to go on fishing trips, right? Right? You're just like, you're not having to think. But the challenge is, often when we deal with emotions, when we deal with stuff on the inside, we've got to learn to communicate.